My name is Emily Corderillo. I am a mental health therapist at CCB, and this video is to demonstrate how you can utilize grounding techniques with a pet. So I'm going to show you a technique that is called five senses. The idea of five senses is using each of your five senses to explore something around you. So I have Amina here. She is a therapy dog at our agency, and she has agreed to help us out. So five senses. I like to start with the first sense being sight. So I'm going to look at Amina. Hi, Amina. So I'm noticing different things about her. I'm noticing that she's looking at me. Yes, you are. And when she looks at me, I'm noticing the color of her eyes. I'm noticing how her whiskers twitch, right? I'm noticing that this fur down here is a lighter color than the fur of her ears. I'm noticing the way she's sitting and the color of her coat changes. And she has moved us into another sense, which is the sense of touch. So we've done sense of sight and the sense of touch. And so I'm noticing, I'm going to touch her and notice how she feels. And so, Amina, come here. I'm noticing that she has a mind of her own because she is her own creature. Amina, come here. I'm noticing that when I pet her, the way that this fur feels is a little bit different than the way that the fur on her tail feels. I'm noticing that even this piece of fur feels a little bit different. And I'm going to move on. When she comes back, I might do a little bit more of the sense of touch, but I'm going to move on to the sense of sound. I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm getting really quiet. I'm listening to the sounds of her sniffing. Amina. Amina, come here. So I'm listening to her sniff. Come here. Yeah. It's a very quiet sound. The sound of her breathing. I'm also noticing the way her ears are moving. Are we going to get back to touch, Amina? Do you want to? And notice when I go back to touch, I notice how the texture of her ears is different than the texture of her back. And when you listen very closely with a pet, you might notice different sounds that they make. You might notice their breathing, or you might notice the beat of their heart if you listen very closely and your pet doesn't mind close quarters. So we have used sight, sound, and touch. We could explore scent, unless your pet has quite a smell. So it's optional. But with her, I like to use that one right after I've washed her. Or if I need to check to see if you need a bath, right, pup? Yeah? Yeah. And I don't know if you heard that. When she yawns, she makes a squeaky sound. And unless you're really quiet, you don't hear it. So these are things that when you're really focusing on them, you notice that you hadn't noticed before. So the fifth sense is taste. So let's try that one out. Just kidding. I don't recommend trying taste on non-food items, but that is something that you could do with a food item. If you have a raisin, for example, you can use the five senses first, looking at how the raisin looks up close, the little ridges in it, or the color from afar. I don't have any raisins, sorry, pup. Right? Then you could touch it with your finger to see what the texture feels like. You could smell it, see what kind of smell the raisin has. Raisins don't really make sounds, so that's a tough one, unless you wanted to break it into pieces and see if it makes a sound. And then taste. When you do the sense of taste with a food item, it's really fun to set it in your mouth without chewing and notice the textures with your tongue first. And that will change the way that the flavor starts to work too. And then noticing bite by bite how the flavors might change. Maybe they intensify as you bite in. Maybe the flavor profile changes as you bite and chew. And so that can also be a really nice tool for using a five senses grounding technique when you are experiencing a big emotion that is difficult to tolerate, or have some thoughts that are racing or repeating themselves in your head. This is a technique that you can use with most objects and in most situations, even just in a room where you are or standing outside. So I hope that this has been helpful, and watch some more of our videos.